Hi, I will be discussing spoilers for the Disney Plus show WandaVision. You have been warned. The writing for WandaVision was really great. Part of what I liked about the writing was I was pleasantly surprised by how much I cared about Wanda and Vision as a couple in this show. When I watched the Marvel movies, I really did not care if they broke up or got together. I felt like their romance was just filler. This show helped made their relationship to me a little bit more solid and a little bit more concrete, and highlighted some of the strong aspects of the relationship and the not so strong aspects of the relationship. What was some of the great aspects of their relationship was their devotion to each other and their love for each other. I thought that was just, it really was sweet. I know that sounds cornball or cliche, but I was thinking, wow, that I have not cared this much about a TV couple in a long, long time. The not so great aspects of their relationship was Wanda was really only wanting to care just only about Vision, and she didn't really care about anybody else anymore. And Vision just blindly trusted whatever Wanda told him and didn't question what she said or did much until he noticed some things that weren't really all right in the Hex reality. And then they started having fights, and the, that's when everything just started coming out a little bit more in the open. I think that the beginning of the show was just, it was so sad, but I think it was something anybody could relate to. The events of the show, from what I understand, take place a couple weeks after the events of the Endgame movie where Tony Stark died, saving the world and whatnot. And Wanda had nothing. Her brother was gone. You know, her parents were gone. Vision was gone, and the world handed her nothing back. She wanted a funeral for Vision. She was told no, but she was allowed to watch him be disassembled from a glass window, which was kind of stupid and prompted her to want to break into the facility. And she told the people that were trying to break into the Hex reality, I have everything I want. Just, she told the higher up guy that denied her a funeral for Vision, she said, I have everything I want. Just leave me alone. And he truly didn't understand, I think, that just how much emotional trauma she had gone through. And then he put the icing on the cake by dismantling her lover slash husband in front of her. When Wanda found the house where she was supposed to grow old from Vision, I think that's what was seen on the piece of paper that was the will he left. And she sank to the ground crying. Before, like, the Hex reality took over, everybody in the town was doing their own thing and nobody gave a shit about her. And that's where I think that's a part of the show that's really relatable to real life, where as we get older, like, people we are close to die, and we lose one more person that cares about us, and we realize we are surrounded in a world of people where everybody's just doing their own thing and they don't give a shit, and that hurts on some level. And that's pretty much what Wanda was going through before she let the Hex reality just emerge and take over. And I think that was also part of why the people were mad, was they didn't want to feel her grief. They didn't want to feel her trauma. And I'm not saying that what she did was justified, but nobody asked, hey, how are you doing? Gave her a hug. Um, or anything after the events of Endgame. Everybody just went off and did their own thing, and she felt like she didn't have a friend in the world. And even when she went through the town before the Hex reality took over, nobody in the town, I mean, they glanced at her, but nobody reached out or said, "Hey, how are you doing today?" really, in a way that would have said that they cared. I think that the townspeople, the show doesn't really address it, but probably in months to come, they would have needed therapy and counseling to get over the fact that she had stuffed all her feelings inside their heads, and her feelings became messed up with their feelings and their sense of reality. I do think that the decision, from what I understand with the writers, is that there is not going to be future seasons, is a good one. This show was really good at being, to me, a character study of Wanda. Just what her motives are, what drives her, just really how her powers came to be what they are. I didn't really feel like I had a very extensive, really look at her as a person before this show. I mean, to me, she was mainly kind of an interesting side character, but it was really nice to see her in her own story and see her go through her issues and resolve her issues somewhat. She may be a future antagonist. I think, from what I understand, she will be in Doctor Strange movies. I think she is going to be looking for her two boys, but I think on that level, she would be a sympathetic antagonist. I don't think she's going to be wanting to maliciously hurt people or take over the world. I think that's what Agnes wanted to do. That is something I did think was a little weak with the writing. I could see that Agnes was not impressed with what Wanda was doing with her powers and believed that she had bigger goals, but we never knew what those bigger goals were that Agnes would have done if she had managed to obtain Wanda's powers. I'm going to assume it was taking over the world, unless somebody has a theory or idea they want to post. I am glad I did read that Doctor Strange was supposed to show up and save the day, and I'm really glad he didn't do that. It was nice to see a woman as a main character be able to handle life at her own pace. And while I did feel sorry for Wanda's boys when oh God, they basically broke apart when the Hex reality died. I think Wanda did the right thing in letting go of her family. And the most you could say about this show is that it builds not just on Wanda, but maybe on some of the other characters. Darcy was a lot of fun. I think a lot of people are hoping she might show up in another movie or another show. The lady, I think her name is Monique. I'm sure somebody will correct me. I think that she might get her own breakout show or movie. What I liked about her was she reached out to Wanda in a compassionate way, and she did the best she could not to really be judgmental with Wanda. She just wanted to talk with her, reason things out, and I think she wanted to be Wanda's friend. But Wanda rejected her gesture of friendship, I think, because she was afraid. She had been hit so hard by life, and she had built up this little nest or cocoon, and accepting Monique's offer of friendship meant letting go of that cocoon and letting all the people go, and she just wasn't ready to do that yet. Monique seemed to be going through her own issues from, I think when she disappeared, when everybody disappeared in the Ant movie, she disappeared too. And when she came back, her mother was dead and passed away. And I think before she disappeared, her mother was alive. And she was having to deal with a world that had changed in the 5 years since she was gone, and the passing of her mother. And also the higher up guy that was the main antagonist, I would say, other than Agnes of WandaVision. I do not remember his name. But I do remember that he and Monique, they were friends at one point. And it seemed like during the 5 year period, he didn't disappear. He had to work really hard to help keep the world together, and that changed him, and he lost some of his compassion, I think, or empathy in some of the work responsibilities he took on, and it didn't change him for the better. And Monique, unfortunately, since she was gone during that 5 year period, she couldn't really understand what he had gone through. I mean, she knew he had changed, but she couldn't understand why. And unfortunately, that was why I think their friendship went down the tubes. And while I think they might have been a working team together, probably as agents before, that was gone. Whatever work rapport they had. And although you can lose friends, you can also make new friends. Monique seemed like she was talking to, I think, when she was talking to an alien, she was possibly making a new friend. And then Darcy and I forgot the guy's name she was with, like, maybe the three of them were becoming friends. And that's what life is about. We become friends with people, or if not friends, acquaintances, and we have a connection with people for a while until we feel that we are not connecting with those people for whatever reason of what we're going through life, and then we separate off. And it doesn't mean that anybody's completely good or completely bad. It's just, it's time for people to move on. And that is one of the best things that I think WandaVision taught us, at least this year, is while change happens and people may come and go, we will be all okay somehow. I mean, Wanda was going to be okay somehow. Although she had lost everyone she cared about, she learned that there is a big world and that she just has to reach out and make connections with people to regain people that care about her. And that is all I have to say.